In this video, we are going to cover density, and the learning objective is to solve problems involving density. So first, let's define what density is. The density, which has a symbol lowercase d, is the ratio of mass of a substance to the volume occupied by that mass. So d is equal to mass over volume. Also, we can abbreviate the mass as lowercase m, the volume is capital V, so then density becomes mass d is equal m divided by V. The density is a physical property of a substance, and the unit for density is expressed in grams per milliliters or grams per centimeter cube if you have solid and liquid. If we are talking about a gas, then it's the grams per liters. Because the volume changed with the change in temperature, then also the density is going to change at different temperatures. If we take the example of water, the density of water is 1.0 grams per milliliter at 4 degrees Celsius. However, at 80 degrees Celsius is 0.97 grams per milliliters. If you look at the relationships between density, mass, and volume, if you look at these three cubes, and all of them have the same volume, however, your density is decreasing when you go from gold to sulfur to water, you see that gold will have higher mass than the sulfur and then the water. So as your density decreases, the mass will also decrease if you keep the volume constant. If you keep the mass constant, however, as the density decreases, then you see that the volume will actually increase. So density is inversely related to volume, however, is directly proportional to the mass. Let's look at this example. Calculate the density of a substance if 323 grams occupy a volume of 53 milliliters. To calculate density, I'm going to simply use the equation for density, which is D is equal to M divided by V. The mass is 323 grams. The volume is 53.0 milliliters. And this is equal to 6.09. You can see that the units is actually the grams per milliliters. As far as significant figure, both the mass and the volume are measured value. Here we have 3 sig figs. 53 has 3 sig figs. My answer should have 3 sig figs. Also, we can use a density as the conversion factor. So if I read this problem, the density of gold is 19.3 grams per milliliter. What is the volume of 25 grams of gold? When you are given a density in a problem, you can actually convert it into a ratio. You could say that you have 19.3 grams per 1 milliliters. And we could use this ratio as a conversion factor. So the given in this problem, if you read, what is the volume of 25 grams of gold? So your given are the 25 grams of gold. And the needed is the volume or the milliliters. So you're going to start with your given, the grams of gold, and we're going to use this conversion factor to find the milliliters. Since I need to cancel the grams of gold, then I'm going to put the grams in the denominator. So this is actually grams of gold and grams of gold. So 19.3 grams of gold goes into your denominator, and 1 milliliter of gold goes into your numerator. And you can see that you can cancel the gold and you will get 1.30 milliliters. For significant figures, here you have 3 sig figs. Density is a measured value, so this 19.3 has 3 sig figs is measured. The 1 milliliter is exact because you are dividing by the volume to make it 1 milliliters. And following this, my answer should have 3 significant figures. Now it's time for you to practice. What is the mass of 1.5 milliliters of ethyl alcohol? The density is equal to 0.789 grams per milliliters at 4 degrees Celsius. Again, I'm given density, so I'm going to put it into a ratio. So it's 0.789 grams of ethyl alcohol divided by 1 milliliters. The given in this problem is the 1.50 milliliters of the ethyl alcohol, and I need to find, or the needed are the mass, which is the grams of the ethyl alcohol. So you start with your given. .50 milliliters of ethyl alcohol. You multiply by this conversion factor. You need to cancel milliliters, so you're gonna keep the milliliters in your denominator. And you put the 0.789 grams of ethyl alcohol in your numerator. This is milliliters of ethyl alcohol. Then this should give you the answer of 1.18 grams of ethyl alcohol. And you can see that milliliters should cancel out.